Sweet and juicy peaches, $2.49 per pound. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Lay's potato chips, 6.5-ounce bag, only $3.79. CRISCO vegetable oil, 32-ounce bottle, only $4.29. Select varieties of Friendly's ice cream, 48-ounce, hot price, only $4.65. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Tuesday, June the 26th. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. The cost for Bermudians of online shopping at U.S. retailers looks set to jump. Until now, online purchases in the United States came with a perk. Many purchases were tax-free. As a consumer, you could save a fair bit of cash, but traditional retailers cried foul, saying the practice gave e-commerce companies like Amazon and Overstock an unfair advantage. A recent U.S. Supreme Court decision has now closed that loophole, meaning Bermudians could be counting the cost. Tony Waterman explains.
When it comes to choice and convenience, the internet is king. And Bermudians, like people all over the world, love online shopping. How frequently would you say that you shop online?
All the time, like every day almost.
Every week. So either Amazon, eBay, I do it all the time.
Every week to 2 weeks.
A lot of those purchases hail from the U.S., which means a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling could impact online shoppers in Bermuda. Last week, the court narrowly voted to allow U.S. states to collect sales tax from online retailers. That could add a 6, 7, even 10% tax onto your purchase, depending on where it's shipped.
There's going to be consumers out there that find there are fewer places that they can shop and not be charged sales tax.
45 out of 50 U.S. states collect sales tax, and each state has a different tax rate. For example, Bermudians using package delivery service Mailboxes Unlimited, which has a New Jersey address, could see a 6.6% tax added at the point of sale.
These are items that came in over the last week or two, and we get
Mailboxes Unlimited president Steve Thompson says the company handles some 350 parcels a day, up to 700 at Christmas. He doesn't think the ruling will have much of an impact on Bermudians because a lot of his customers use Amazon.
One of the things that's interesting about Amazon is that they were actually one of the e-commerce companies that had voluntarily started collecting the sales tax for the stuff that they were selling. Independent vendors, that was something different for them specifically, so probably not going to impact them as much. But when you start looking at the Overstock and maybe some of the smaller e-commerce companies,
Wayfair maybe, and these type of places, I actually just don't agree that it's going to affect internet shopping. Internet shopping is growing between 12 and 15% annually now. You can buy from 30 or 40 or 50 different retailers. You can find what you want. So I don't actually think that sales tax at 6% is going to affect anything. Certainly not going to affect us here in Bermuda because, like you said, Amazon is over half of what we do, and they've already been charging sales tax for the most part.
Amazon may dominate, but it isn't the only game in town. Experts say the ruling could open the door to an additional $20 billion in taxes a year. Some of that undoubtedly emanating from the sandy shores of Bermuda. Tony Waterman for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news, more details have emerged about the government's plans for cutting the high costs associated with legal aid. You may remember it was announced in the 2018-2019 budget that the legal aid program will be adjusted to save $1 million annually, with the Legal Aid Amendment Act 2018 set to be taken up in the Senate tomorrow. Gary Moreno tells us more about what that bill entails.
Legal aid costs amounted to an estimated $2.585 million last year. Plans to slash that cost by more than a third are outlined in the Legal Aid Amendment Act 2018. Cost unpredictability and escalation have put legal aid in jeopardy for some time, hence the need for finding solutions. The bill aims to make the scheme sustainable by utilizing in-house staff to reduce and stabilize cost. The plan is to hire a senior legal aid counsel, a junior legal aid counsel, and a paralegal. assigning cases to in-house counsel where appropriate, cut costs, and this will take place if the amendment is passed. However, a few changes have already taken place within the Legal Aid Office. Senior Legal Counsel Susan Moore-Williams has been seconded as Postmaster General for a 6-month period, though it's unclear whether her secondment has been extended since we were told it started in February. Attorney Charles Richardson, meanwhile, has been hired as a consultant to the department, also for 6 months. Notice of that, we understand, was sent out on Sunday. Mr. Richardson, we are told, is replacing Michael Taylor, who was reportedly acting senior legal counsel. Now, we try to find out the cost of this consultancy and whether it would undermine attempts to reduce the legal aid budget by $1 million, but we have so far not been successful. On whether the hiring of a legal aid counsel, a junior counsel and a paralegal is sufficient to fulfill legal aid obligations, government is taking a wait-and-see stance. However, not everyone is confident about the proposed changes. Some members of the legal fraternity suggest while the proposed changes may cut costs, they will not entirely improve efficiency. It's felt legal aid would require more than 3 additional staff. The skeptics concede, however, that fixing legal aid has been a formidable challenge for successive governments. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
Price Red is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce, and an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world, and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
Welcome back. Well, until now, landlords with a spare 1-bedroom or studio unit have had to have room for car parking before they could rent out their property. But the government has announced a relaxation of that policy. It will allow small dwelling units to get an assessment number even though they lack space for a car. The Minister of Home Affairs, Walter Brown Jr., says the new policy will enable more homeowners to earn extra income. He spoke to Mike Sharp.
It's a policy designed to allow for homeowners to get an additional rental unit to increase their income, and because of the current restrictions, they will be able to build these units but not have a permission to have a car. They don't have enough space for the car, and so under existing planning guidelines, they are prohibited from getting that space without a car space allocated. So we're now going to make an adjustment to allow for the units to be built without a car license available. It'll be for cycles only. So this is designed to encourage homeowners to construct units that will provide for additional income without the car licensing requirement.
Mm-hmm. So this is, in your opinion, you've got a lot of support in the House on this?
I believe so. I believe we have full support for this. It's a very important initiative. It was part of our campaign promise. So it's a promise made, a promise kept. And it is something that will provide direct benefit to homeowners.
In other news, the commanding officer of the Royal Bermuda Regiment has pledged to support the government's efforts to reform the RBR following the passing of legislation to abolish conscription. Lieutenant Colonel David Curley, in a statement to this station, said, quote, "Throughout the transition, we have offered our advice to the minister, who has always been receptive to our submissions. We are pleased to see the high levels of support which the regiment has received from the community and the leaders of the country as we fully transition to an all-volunteer force," end quote. Colonel David Curley noted that a review of the regiment is underway, saying, quote, "The result will be a clear pathway to have a sustainable and operationally aligned regiment to meet the needs of Bermuda and its interests." His statement follows our stories on Monday featuring the anti-conscription organization BAD and the group called the Nine Colonels, which opposes the abolition of conscription. Weather now, and after a day of persistent showers, what's the outlook for the rest of the week? Here's our AccuWeather forecast.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM is brought to us by our friends at the BF&M Insurance Group, and we have some active weather out there. Lots of showers and thunderstorms. You can see the stripe of extra moisture right over our heads. A front has rolled in from the north, and it has produced some showers and some thunderstorms. This more vibrant color on the infrared satellite shows where the cloud tops are especially cold, and for them to be cold, they need to be high, and those tall clouds are basically on top of some of the stronger thunderstorms and showers that are out there. Here's the visible satellite loop. We haven't seen a great deal of sunshine today, obviously, with this stripe of clouds overhead, and the satellite estimated rainfall shows we are wet. We've had showers and thunderstorms off and on. Temperatures are down because of that. 77 degrees. Humidity is up 80 to 85% right now. Wind light from the northwest. We haven't had a whole lot of northwest wind recently, but the winds have shifted as the front has just barely pushed to the south. It's going to stall to our south, and we will be a little cooler than we had been with some agitated waves as well. On the outside, we have 4 to 7 footers outside of the reef. Inside, about 1 to 2 feet. No big deal. But on the outside, again, dangerous boating weather. Small craft warning continues until Wednesday evening. The tide is coming in right now. High tide 8:30 tonight. Tide goes back out 3:03 a.m. Another high tide around the middle of tomorrow morning at 8:50 a.m. And then for the early afternoon crowd, the tide will be back out at 2:36 p.m. on Wednesday. So here's Futurecast showing the shift in the wind here, and that stripe of green. Showers are with us, some spotty thunderstorms possible. A lot of the showers are going to be a little more likely just to the south as the front has barely pushed to our south. For the next day or two, it will eventually lose its identity, but we are in a wetter weather pattern. Big difference from early May, as you may recall, a very dry month in the rearview mirror. We're dealing with some showers, spotty thunderstorms embedded within the rain. Tomorrow we'll be back up around 80 degrees with more clouds than sun and still some spotty showers and breezy weather lingering. As we look at the gateway forecast, eastern North America, a little bit wetter into Toronto. Fairly decent day for most of the business hours in New York and Boston. If you're traveling there, look out for some wetter weather on Wednesday night in New York and into Thursday morning in Boston. Showers in Atlanta, 90, thunderstorms there into Miami as well. London's heating up, 80 degrees there in the United Kingdom. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are out there in many parts of the Caribbean. We're watching a non-tropical area of low pressure near the North Carolina coast. It shouldn't be much of a factor, really. If it does become any more organized, it'll be drifting mainly well to our north and away from the east coast of the U.S. as well. So perhaps it could impact maybe a cruise ship route or two, but not a big deal for us at this point. We do have some showers, though. As the front stalls to the south, it'll begin to waver north once again with the next disturbance. Periods of rain off and on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a wetter time for us in Bermuda. Back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then, note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BF&M 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
This is Rick Blomquist of De Pere, Wisconsin. His life is pretty comfortable. He lives in a comfy home, wears comfortable shoes. He even has a comfortable job. Rick Blomquist thought he had comfort all figured out. But then he laid on a Serta and realized his life was only just sorta comfortable. The new Serta iComfort Hybrid Mattress. Not just sorta comfortable, Serta comfortable.
Feel the difference a good night's sleep can make. Exclusively available at Dreams, Bermuda's only mattress gallery.
Surface Trends has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Welcome back. Well, the school year comes to a close this week, and Education Minister Diallo Rebane says the government did not wait for the summer break to get the jump on upgrading schools. Minister Rebane stressing that mold in schools is one of the issues being closely watched.
Every summer there's school maintenance program that's going on. We've actually, unlike previous, we haven't waited until the summer to start doing what needs to be done in order to make sure the schools are in tip-top shape for come September. So we already have a plan in place that will commence immediately when school comes out with some of the major works. I was just looking at some things, bathroom upgrades at various schools, a roof replacement at Delwood for the gymnasium will take place, tenting of schools, painting, and all of those types of things. But what I want the public to know is that throughout the year, small jobs, whereas in previous administrations they would wait until the summer, we've been doing them throughout the year and when there were breaks. So we just don't have a ton of work to do during the summer.
Is it safe to say, Minister, that the mold issue is behind us now?
Well, as you know, mold is prevalent everywhere we are in Bermuda, but what we do continuously monitor and make sure that things are being done. When we went through some of the issues we went through last year, there also was a program where the health officers were talking to the teachers and the principals on how to prevent mold from being in the school, and also the custodians on how to prevent mold build-up within schools. And to date, we haven't had any complaints from staff at the school, so I can make the assumption that the preventative methods that we put in place are working. But during the summer, we will be continuing the testing and looking to make sure that our schools are safe, which is what is most important for us.
In other news, it's an art show and it's garbage, literally. The environmental charity Keep Bermuda Beautiful is putting on a show of works composed of plastics found on the island's beaches. It's the 7th such exhibition, with hundreds of people expected to come to see the dozens of colorful items on display. But it's a show with a serious message too. Hal Davis reports.
It's not often that such a load of rubbish gets pride of place in an art gallery. But that's what these exhibits will have from this Friday. They're part of the Keep Bermuda Beautiful show, A Drop in the Ocean. It's the latest attempt by the group to bring home the dangers of plastics.
This problem with this trash, it's really a public health issue. It's the survival of our oceans, which is the survival of our planet. More than 50% of the oxygen that we breathe comes from our oceans, so it's essential that we look after it. It's our livelihood here in Bermuda. It's a tourism industry. IB wouldn't want to be here if we trash the place. We wouldn't want to be here if we trash our own island.
Plastics are an increasing worry for environmentalists worldwide. These pictures, taken off the Indonesian island of Bali, hint at the scale of the problem. More than 10 million metric tons of rubbish enter the sea every year. But plastics are particularly pernicious because they're around for a very long time. A plastic bottle top, and there are lots on display at the new exhibition, can take 1,000 years to break down. And the effects of such plastic pollution on marine life can be catastrophic.
This is an ordinary tube of adhesive used in construction, and these are V-shaped bite marks which indicate a turtle has bitten this. It gets into the turtle's stomach, does not go through their digestive system, it builds up in their system, and eventually they can't eat real food and starve to death. So it's the health of our marine life, It's our public health, it's the economy, it's our tourism product.
The exhibition will open its doors at City Hall this Friday, running until July the 24th, and everything is for sale. So, a rare chance to pay for something you know is really rubbish and take it home. Howell Davis, Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Still to come, some joy for Alzheimer's sufferers through the medium of dance. Plus, Earl Basden meets a sporting legend. That's in just a few minutes.
Fresh blueberries, 1-pint package, hot price $3.99. Fresh Purdue chicken thighs, just $1.99 per pound. Freshly baked hamburger or hot dog rolls, 8-pack, hot price $3.99. Kellogg's single-serve breakfast cereal, 1.5-ounce cup, only $1.39. Arm & Hammer liquid laundry detergent, 50-ounce, hot price $5.70. All stores open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Blurry-eyed following your eye appointment? Had one too many? Or simply too tired to face the drive home at the end of a long night? There are lots of reasons why you couldn't and shouldn't get behind the wheel. Introducing HomeSafe from Security Associates, the island's only car and driver home delivery service. Reschedule with us and a HomeSafe driver will deliver you and your car right to your door. Whatever your reason for not driving, you can always get HomeSafe. Call 298-2626 for pricing and to find out how you can become a member or visit homesafebermuda.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Here now with all the other sports news, including the arrival in Bermuda of one of the world's best sportsmen. Here's Earl Basden.
It was back in 2004, right here at the National Sports Center, where Usain Bolt introduced himself to the world.
Well, for me, this track is historical track for me. It's the first time I've ever broken a record. It has a lot of memories for me. I'm just happy to actually be back in Bermuda. A lot of memories, a lot of fun times. Just remembering growing up and understanding what I've been through to get to where I'm at. And when I broke this record for the first time here, the 200 record, I never knew I'd be at this level at this point in my career. So for me, saying that is just to point out that working hard is everything and never giving up on your dream. I started out never knowing how far I could have gone or wanted to go, but I know that I wanted to be one of the best, so I just continue working and continue pushing myself and just dedicating my life to the sport. It wasn't an easy road. It was up and down, a lot of injuries. Went through a lot in my career, false starts and a lot of things, but I've always persevered because it's the one thing I believe in, being the best and doing the best that I can do, because when you actually do your best, you feel good, even at times, because there's been times that I've felt like I've done my best and I've won, but the thing is that you actually give it your best, and no one can fight you or put you down for that if you know in yourself that, you know what, I train hard, or I studied hard, or I really push myself, because you know that you're doing your best. You just need to find ways to improve and to get better and to push yourself to be on the highest level. So
Controversy headline Game 2 of the FIBA America Cup 2021 Caribbean pre-qualifiers in Suriname for Bermuda. 7 minutes before Bermuda was due to play their second match, officials from FIBA informed the Bermuda team officials that 4 Bermuda players did not have FIBA numbers, so they were not going to be allowed to play, although they did play in the opening game. Bermuda did take to the court minus the 4 players and fell 87-78 to Barbados. However, Chris Crumpler voiced his concern about the FIBA officials' decision.
Bermuda national basketball team has unfortunately had 4 players who are Bermuda born, who are not professional, who never played for any other country, to be denied to represent the country in the CBC championships due to a technicality of FIBA not giving them clearance that has been submitted over almost a month ago. And the naturalized player myself, who is the one player for Bermuda, I got clearance in 2 days from the USA delegation. So we're unfortunately, due that we already paid all our money and processed all of our paperwork, the local players are not able to play because they don't have a FIBA number, which is detrimental to the team and their overall success.
Daniel Phillips continued competing on the Caribbean Junior Tennis Circuit. Phillips is in Aruba competing in the TIHTA Aruba 2018 main draw. Phillips has advanced to the second round following his first round under-14 boys win over Miguel Chavez from Venezuela. Phillips won in straight sets, 6-love, 6-love. There was plenty of winners during the Newport to Bermuda race, but one group topped them all, as Taylor Walker explains.
We're a youth sailing program called the Mud Rats, which started as just an extension of summer sailing programs to allow kids more opportunity to be on the water. And with, small sparks, start big fires. And with this one, somebody reached out to our founder, Brandon Flack, with the opportunity to have a Swan 48 donated. And he reached out to O.J. O'Connell over here and a couple of the other older adult members of the program, and they jumped at the opportunity. And O.J. reached out to me with Brandon and asked me to get involved to help get the program off the ground this past spring.
Atletico CP are heading back to the World Futsal Championships at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex in Orlando, Florida. Coach Peter Ricard is looking forward to the challenge.
Expectations just to go out and perform well, represent Bermuda, represent ourselves, put on a good show. The level of competition there is extremely high, so we're just looking forward, like I said, to put on a good show. And we know that there's going to be a target on our back this year, having been the champions in the under-12 division last year, so we're just going to go out and put our best foot forward.
Kenny LeJour continued competing in the 2018 Future Masters Golf Tournament going on in Alabama. LeJour is competing in the boys 13 to 14 age group division. He began the day tied 8th, but came off the course tied 23rd after a second round, 3 over par 73. LeJour is currently 7 strokes off leader Matthew Troutman from Kentucky. LeJour's second round consists of 2 birdies, 13 pars, 2 bogeys, and 1 triple bogey. There was a Bermuda inline bowl hockey doubleheader at the PCC hockey rink last evening, where some 30 goals were scored. In the opener, the St. David's Islanders would go down 10-9 to the Tuckerstown Tropics. In the nightcap, the Warwick Waves went down 7-4 to the Southampton Sailors. I'm Earl Basden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Thanks, Earl. And finally, Alzheimer's disease and dementia are ordeals, both for those living with those conditions and for their caregivers. But as Dana Kozlov from CBS shows, dance therapy is helping patients connect with their world and their loved ones, even if it's just for a few moments.
Take my hand. Is that okay?
The movements may be small. Dance therapist Erica Hornthal's approach is gentle as she leads her weekly movement session for people with Alzheimer's and dementia. The board-certified therapist says for people who may now live in a world filled with confusion, anxiety, and silence, even the smallest of movements and the music spark a connection.
The brain, the body takes over, and then they're singing the song, or they're engaged with each other. They notice that they're not the only one. They're looking at their their peers, their colleagues, and it takes them away. It takes them away from the day in, day out of the disease.
Marie Kloss attends the weekly sessions with her husband Eugene, who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 8 years ago.
All of a sudden he'll start talking, which he doesn't talk, and that'll just stimulate him enough to say what he wants to say, you know what I mean? And that's one good thing.
Marie says that bit of communication keeps her from missing her husband of 62 years. Just one benefit of dance therapy for individuals.
Oh, you're doing it!
And this residential group as a whole.
See a lot of smiles afterwards. Spirits are lifted, and people are still kind of dancing when they're on their way to dinner.
It's just untapped potential for somebody who, oftentimes has been given up on.
In Lake Forest.
Are you happy?
Pretty damn happy.
Oh, pretty damn happy.
Dana Kozlov, CBS 2 News.
That's our newscast on this Tuesday evening. Thanks for sharing it with us. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.